It's a rainy day outside, and I thought I was going to be able to do this outside under an umbrella and tell you what to feed chickens. As you can see, our chicken is in the background walking around, and I didn't turn on my lav mic, and so you weren't able to hear anything I was saying. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it inside where I know that the sound is going on. A lot of times people, when they go to first get their chicks, they wonder, well, what do you even feed them? So in this video, I'll walk you through that. Now, a little background, we actually have a chicken, sort of. She has kept coming to our yard since for about 6 months now, and we just assumed it was somebody else's chicken who would come and visit us. And we've since learned that it's possible that the people that had the chicken have left, and they left all of their chickens. And so now she's kind of with us. So with all of that, we of course did all the research of, well, what do you even feed a chicken? What is best to give them? And it's kind of amazing. They can do quite a bit on their own because there are several things that they'll eat that are right in the yard, such as clover or other kind of grass, as well as weeds and weed seed. In fact, we'll watch her going through our mulch and all throughout our backyard, and she's just feeding away on any items there, including worms, grub worms, and things like that that she can find. Now, on top of that, we went ahead once we found out that it's possible that she was left behind. We started to buy items, and I'll show you what we feed her now. But basically any kind of commercial feed that you can get at a feed and seed store. We got ours at our local Rural King. It's very hard to say, but Rural King, it's a local feed and seed in our area. But any feed and seed store will have commercial feed for your hens. And depending on whether you're raising chickens for their eggs or whatnot, you'll want to get a variety that's specific for that. For instance, the one that we have is for hen laying, and that's simply because we did find out that she started to lay eggs at one point. They are unfertilized, and so we wanted to encourage that if we do keep her. Some other items that you can feed them are from your kitchen. For instance, any kind of vegetable peels that after you've cooked or after you've prepared dinner, you can feed them a lot of that. They enjoy cabbage, carrots. They love apples. Just make sure you don't feed them any apples with seeds, but you can even throw out the cores to them. They'll eat that. Just the seeds, like with dogs, the seeds are toxic to them. So make sure you don't feed them any of that. You can also chop up some bananas or any kind of berries, any kind of herbs that you don't have anymore. They'll eat that. Pumpkins and pumpkin seeds, they absolutely love that in the fall. And the same with broccoli. They will eat broccoli all day long. You can also make some porridge for in the winter months. And that was usually because they don't have all of the other weeds and things like that that they can feed off of. So you might want to save that for the winter months. And then sometimes you can feed them some yogurt and some mealyworms along with the commercial feed that we have. We also got her a bag of worms, and that's just for an occasional use that you can do. Now, you can't talk about what to feed them without also talking about things to avoid feeding your hens. So the items that you want to make sure that you avoid feeding them are things like garlic, onions, any kind of uncooked tomatoes or potatoes. There's an item in there that once it's not cooked, there's a toxicity for them. Any kind of uncooked grains or beans, it's also something that they can't process. If you cook it, that's fine. They're fine with eating that, but anything uncooked, don't do that. Don't feed them any chocolates or sweets. There's toxicity in that as well. And then some items like avocado pits and skin, they can't process that skin, and that's toxic to them. You also want to not feed them any citrus fruit. Now, a couple of these are toxic to them, but some of them, like the citrus fruit, that simply lowers their egg production, which if you're trying to have hens for getting eggs, then you definitely don't want to feed them citrus for that. And then things like garlic, it's more because of how the garlic will make your eggs taste. And then you also want to avoid any type of fatty or salty items in feeding your hens, and that's simply also for production of the eggs. And also, just like we are not supposed to eat a whole lot of that, it's not good for them as well. Now, if you have them free ranging, you can put the feed out there, but a lot of times people have coops and they have their chickens in a certain area. So because you have a chicken in a certain coop area, you'll want to keep the feed that you give them in planters. And that simply keeps their food away from their feces or their droppings so that there's not any kind of things that they might eat that's not good for them, like parasites if they're eating a combination of their food with their droppings. So make sure you keep them in planters And then once you're done for the day for them eating, you also want to bring in the planters or remove the planters, cover them, and that's simply to discourage or not allow any like field mice or other rodents to come along at night. Let us know in the comments below, what is your favorite item to feed your chickens in the backyard? And that's a quick rundown of the things that you can feed them, as well as the things to avoid in feeding your backyard chickens. And thanks for watching.